In section 1 of Unit 8, we're going to look at the midpoint formula, distance formula, equations of circles. Review a lot of it from geometry, so it should come back to you hopefully. So let's look at the midpoint formula. I have this on your blue reference sheet, but the midpoint given two coordinates is x1 plus x2 divide by 2, and then y1 plus y2 and divide by 2. And it's a coordinate. So we're finding the middle of two endpoints basically. So we'll do number 1 here. So this is x1 and y1. This is x2 and y2. So we're going to do 6 plus negative 3 divided by 2. And then we will do y1, which is negative 7, plus y2, which is negative 9, divided by 2. Now we want to simplify a little bit. Obviously I need to add on top first, so that's 3 divided by 2. You can either leave it as 3 halves, or you could write it as 1.5 or 1.5. I'll leave it as 3 halves. Negative 7 plus negative 9 is negative 16. Negative 16 divided by 2 is negative 8. So it would be 3 halves, negative 8. Let's go down to the distance formula to review that. Distance formula, I'll use a D, is this formula, which you've had before. Whoops, minus x1, x2 minus x1 squared, in parentheses, plus y2 minus y1 squared, in parentheses, and then the square root of that. It's derived from the Pythagorean theorem, really. And let's look at number 11. So distance equals, I'm going to do square root. Remember, this is x1, y1, x2, y2. So we're going to do x2, so inside parentheses I'm going to do 3 minus a negative 2, so I'll write it as that initially, squared, plus y1, or y2, excuse me, negative 7, which is this one, minus my y1, so minus 0, inside parentheses, squared. So let's do a little simplifying. Square root of, this becomes plus, so we get a 5 inside there. Negative 7 minus 0 is negative 7 squared. And that's equal to the square root of 5 squared is 25. And these will always come out to be positive numbers we're adding. I don't care if you have a negative inside or a positive. Squaring a negative and squaring a positive always gives you a positive, so you will never have either of these two numbers be a negative. And then I add those two together before I take the square root. So that's the square root of 74. And notice it does say leave answers in simplified radical form, so that means no decimals. So 74, if I broke 74 down, just to see if I could simplify that radical at all, it's 2 times 37, and 37 is prime, there are no pairs. So this one we'd leave as square root 74.